Welcome again. We're discussing chapter 18, demand forecasting, and so far we have covered uh, time series analysis. And in time series analysis, we covered the last value method, and then we did the simple moving average, and then the weighted moving average, exponential smoothing, and lastly we did linear regression. And the advantage of linear regression is that it can be used for mid-term planning instead of short-term. All others were short-term planning methods. And also the linear regression could take care of the trend component and also the seasonality element, which the others could not. Now we'll be concluding this chapter in this video, and the things that we want to introduce in this video lecture would be, apart from time series analysis method of forecasting, which we've already covered, there is another type of forecasting that's based on causal relationships between different variables, and we'll cover that shortly. So the point to remember is, apart from the time series analysis, we'll be covering causal relationships and also the qualitative forecasting methods that we'll do in this video lecture. From our memory from last video, time series analysis is based on the idea that data relating to past can be used to predict future demand. So there are two assumptions. One assumption is that the product or service is not new. We have historic data with for that service and or product that we can use to predict about the future. But the next two methods, or the causal relationship and qualitative, are useful when we are launching a new product or new service in the market, because we do not have any historic data for that. So these, so that second and third is relevant for those type of products. Primary focus of this chapter has been the time series analysis, but it is important that we also know what is causal relationship and what is qualitative forecasting, and when those could be useful. Linear regression we used as a time series analysis. So the y-axis, which was the dependent variable, would be demand of items, and the x-axis was the independent variable, in which in our case was time. And if the axis is any other variable, it's not time, then the linear regression is establishing a causal relationship between the independent and the dependent variable. So there we are, that is how we establish the causal relationship forecasting. So an example could be, if we are launching a new video business or DVD business. So causal relationship would be, if there is a demand for DVD players in that area, it is likely that it would also cause the demand for our videos or our DVDs or compact discs. Another related example that we did in chapter 15 was that we were locating a service that was a new service. We wanted to build a new hotel, and from our past record in other localities, we had established some relationships between the profitability of a hotel and other variables, such as the price that we would be charging and the median income of the area and the college students in that area. So we had that relationship established somewhere else, and then we used the same linear regression model that was establishing a causal relationship between profitability and other variables. Then we did use that in a land or any other area that we wanted to construct our service. So this is how we, if we want to make a new service, or we want to launch a new product, we can use a causal relationship forecasting, which is simply linear regression, but this time instead of the time, we are using other factors, other variable as the independent variable. Next comes the qualitative forecasting. Again, its focus is on a new product, and here we say different gentlemen, seems to be very experienced in their field, are sitting together, and they are reaching a consensus, or trying to project what their sales forecast would be. So they're saying that instead of wild, that's very good, we should be expecting little less than wild, that is great. The idea is that qualitative forecasting techniques take advantage of knowledge of experts. Again, it's for new products generally. There are different types of qualitative forecasting techniques. Could be market research, panel consensus, DELPHI method, and historical analogies. So what is market research? Let me give you an example. ADU is starting its business school and also engineering school as well in Dubai. So to establish if there would be enough demand over there, it's a new market. They weren't into that area. Previously they were located in Abu Dhabi and Al Ain. So they hired firms that specialize in market research. So what they do is they conduct either surveys, telephonic interviews. Maybe they could also analyze the different business schools that are already in Dubai, and what are the how people like them or not like them, what are the chances that if any other business schools tries to enter the market, how much demand it's likely to face. So, there are firms that specialize in market research, and they are hired to carry out the product research, if the people are going to like this product in this new market or not. So, this is how they establish their demand for a new product, of course. The second is panel consensus. The idea is simply that you gather the experts in a field and you ask their opinion, what is how they think would be the future demand of this particular new service or new item. And then they all give their reasons for their opinions, and then they try to reach a consensus. The problem with this one is that, especially in this culture as well, where people won't be very open in their opinion because of hierarchical differences as well. Some is a senior manager, some is a junior staff, age as well, so perhaps out of respect as well. So yeah, so if it's an open discussion where they have to come up with their opinion, so if the opinion clashes with others, the person may not be very forthcoming, and we may not get a very clear or good forecast for the future. To cover up for this one, there is a technique called DELPHI technique, which is the same idea. It's just that instead of open discussion, the identities of the individual participating in this study is concealed. People do not know who are the other persons, so it's sort of a hidden opinion taking. The procedure, stepwise procedure, is that you send a questionnaire. First you select the people, experts of the area to participate, and then you send questionnaires and get their opinion and also their reasons for these their opinions, their forecast, and then you establish more questions based on what they replied, and you send them additional question, and then you continue till you reach a point where you're confident that your future forecasts are clear and you have established a reasonable estimate of your future demand. The idea is that the end result is not affected by people's aversion to express their opinion, so they're free to express whatever they think would be the right answer. The last one is historical analogy. Again, it's a qualitative forecasting. It's done because we do not have the previous sales history of an item, because it's a new item, new service. So what the idea is that we've got an existing product which shares some similar characteristics with the new product that we are offering. So we'll use the information or the history of the item that's already in the market, and the new market that we are producing is somewhat similar to that, so we'll use the same information. So analogy means similarity. So if there are similarities in the new product or new service to the one that we have already done previously, or somebody else has done it, so we utilize that information to construct the forecast. An example could be toasters and coffee pots, toaster or sandwich makers as well. So toaster and sandwich maker are somewhat similar. They have similar characteristics, and the book has used toaster and coffee pots, so both are probably breakfast items. So similar items, maybe a DVD player and also a home theater or something, or TV, something like this. So that has somewhat similar characteristics, and it's a new product. We could use the data of a similar item and predict the demand for these ones. So now we finished the quality forecasting. Previous to that, we did the causal relationship. So both these two types of forecasting methods are useful when we do not have any historical data. But if you have historical data, time series analysis is a good way of predicting our demand. If you remember, when we were discussing the bullwhip effect minimization technique, so we agreed that information sharing is the best way of minimization bullwhip effect, and then we also learned a methodology where there was a web-based planning system where all the facilities in supply chain were using the same information. The information was being shared through that forum. We named that collaborative planning, forecasting and replenishment model. So we just mentioned its name over there. Now we'll be talking a bit more in detail about that collaborative. So we're doing collaboration with respect to planning, and part of planning is forecasting and replenishment decisions. So information is being shared in the entire supply chain. It's a web-based process. Could be company's own network as well. So you could use the demand forecasting, so share the information all along, so that the retail demand is actually known to the suppliers and the suppliers of the suppliers. You do the for production and purchasing and inventory decisions, all could be based on the demand forecast that's being faced by the retail outlet. So it integrates all members of supply chain. That's the whole purpose. So here we say that the solid line is the product flow from the supplier, the very first supplier, then another supplier, then another tier of supplier, and so there are 3-4 tiers of supplier. Then we are manufacturing our product here. It goes to distribution, goes to the retail, and goes to the customer. So this is solid line is the product flow, and the dashed line is the information flow. So the information is being flown to all tiers of suppliers, to all stages of the supply chain, whether it's in assembly, it's manufacturing, or it's being procurement or distribution. So information is being shared. That's the whole purpose of collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment decisions. Okay, so that brings to conclusion. That brings a conclusion to our discussion on demand forecasting. It's very important. If you do not have proper forecasting mechanism, as we saw in the case of Lily and Roses, we'll understock at times, we'll overstock at times, and there is an element of seasonality as well. The average demand may be the same for the whole year, but during one quarter it's quite high, the second quarter is low, so we need to be stocking according to the seasonal components. So a customer arriving at a particular time of the year, we are able to satisfy his needs. So this is we've quickly summarized what we have learned. So it's important to planning effort. In short run, we have to forecast the materials, services and resources required to produce our items. In the long run, we have to make strategic decisions, like for example launching Abu Dhabi's business school in Dubai, Abu Dhabi universities. So it's a strategic decision, and we used market research to come up with this informed decision. And regression analysis is important, and not only for taking care of seasonality element, trend element for the time series analysis. It can also be used for the establishing causal relationship for a new product. Then at the end we've got some glossary of key terms which you must go through. I would also upload the exercise questions for chapter 18. I've already given you an assignment that you have to do before coming for the next lecture. But I would also like you to do the exercise question for chapter 18. It's a solved exercise. You just need to be mindful that we haven't covered all things in this chapter. So the exercise may contain things that we have not done in the class. So what you have to do is to match what we have done in our video lectures and see corresponding questions. Only do those things that we have covered in our video lectures. You can ignore other things. Thank you very much. All the best, and hope you enjoyed this lecture. It is the last lecture of our video series, and I hope to see you. Looking forward to see you on Wednesday. Thank you very much.